Something that's become very, very popular lately is debates. You're going to see, if you look online, you'll see a lot of debates. So there was one between Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes the other night. Nick done one with D'Souza a week and a half ago. Charlie Kirk does debates all the time. Then, Dean Withers, he does debates. And Harry Sisson, people like that, right? So you've seen a lot more debates in the last couple of years. But as well as that, people get into disagreements all the time. Not everybody is going to agree with your point of view. And not everybody is going to not only agree, but they're not going to be polite about it either, right? But it's very interesting, right? Because you are going to get into discussions, debates in everyday life anyway. There's a chance you're going to have a slight argument with somebody about something, right? So in this video, I'm going to talk you through how to win arguments and how to win debates. And it's a very interesting topic, right? Because the best debaters, you can watch them. Charlie Kirk is a great debater. Myron Gaines is another good debater. Now, the thing with Myron versus Charlie, right? Now, bear in mind, I don't particularly like Charlie too much, but I'm still going to praise him because he's a great debater, right? Nick, Myron, Charlie, sometimes Candace, Dean, many others, right? Study them when they're debating. One thing you'll notice is that they have their facts prepared. So if you're going to die on value, on principle, on moral, the way to go about it, and here's the thing, right? I have my beliefs, they're very strong beliefs. I have my values and I hold them strong, right? And that's the first thing you need to do, is have strong values, strong opinions. But you also need to be able to answer why you believe that way. You need to come at it with facts. Not only facts, but you need to come at it with logic. You need to understand the other side of the argument. You need to know their arguments. Because, look, a lot of people take their values, take their beliefs, take their morals. They take them from somebody else. And when they're pushed on it, they are not able to stand by it. They're not able to win in any argument or debate that they're in. And the reason for this, right, and not many people are pointing this out either, but one of the main reasons that you see Dean Withers absolutely crushing conservatives, Republicans in debates, one of the main reasons you see Charlie crushing people at schools in debates, Myron crushing the 20 girls he has on his podcast, is these people who are coming to these debates with their beliefs, they've taken them from somebody else. They've taken it from somebody they've listened to, which is wrong, right? Because you're just going to regurgitate what you heard from Charlie Kirk, what you heard from Myron Gaines, what you heard from the older millennial, what you heard from somebody on the internet. You're just regurgitating that argument, that point, that belief, right? And the reason I'm saying this is because it's actually a very important point. It's very important, right? Because if Charlie Kirk was to debate Dean Withers, let's say, right? Charlie knows what he believes in. He knows his beliefs, and he's able to back it up with proof, with claims. He's able to back it up with facts, and he understands why he believes that way. The same with Dean, right? But when Dean or Charlie do their debates, Charlie with his college campus tour, Dean on TikTok, the reason why they do so well in these debates is because the people they're debating are taking their beliefs from, let's say, Charlie Kirk, right? Against Dean, they're taking them from Charlie, right? Or someone like that, another conservative Republican influencer debater, right? So they're not able to back up any of the claims they're making, so they're going to be destroyed. They're not going to be able to know why they're saying what they're saying, and they've no proof of anything that they're saying. They're just trying to recall what they heard somebody else saying. Whereas Charlie knows exactly what he's saying. He knows where he's going with it. The same with Tate. He understands the stuff he talks about. And that's where you need to look at things from that perspective, right? Because, as I said, if Charlie and Dean were to have a debate, Charlie would probably win. Maybe not. Now, I don't like either of those two, for quite obvious reasons. I would debate Charlie and Dean if I ever had the chance to. So maybe if one of them see this, they can reach out and we can do a debate. But one thing you've got to notice, and I like to watch Twitter Spaces with people I like. And the interesting thing there is, right, a lot of these people, like, let's take the conservative movement, right? Or even just the right wing in general. There's so many different factions of the right wing. You have pro-Israel, you have anti-Israel, you have pro-MAGA, anti-MAGA, yada yada, right? Stuff like that. Views and opinions are going to differ. So then, let's say you agree with someone on a lot of different points, but you disagree with them on other points. Then what happens is that you're going to end up insulting someone. And I've seen this happen, right? Where a couple of weeks ago there was an X space and Myron was in the X space and somebody took a cheap insult at Myron. Myron always hits with cheap insults back, and he generally does it anyway, whether someone insults him or not. Now, I love Myron, and I think he is a very intelligent, very well-spoken, very good debater, and a very good person in general, right? But in order to get someone to take you seriously, you need to avoid the cheap insults. You need to just come at it with facts rather than resorting to insulting someone. Because once you insult someone, they're less likely to take your point of view seriously. It's just going to turn into cheap insults back and forth then. And then from there, it's just going to turn nasty. They're not going to take it seriously. It's something you'll notice with, if you watch the Nick Fuentes, the Sousa debate, you can find it on InfoWars, you could probably find it on Nick's Rumble account. I don't know if D'Souza has it up. I don't really follow him. But one thing you'll notice is Nick listens, so does D'Souza. The two of them listen to each other, and then they counter the points that are being made. They don't take cheap insults at the person. They don't insult each other at all. Now, I haven't seen Candice and Nick Fuentes just yet, but what I've gathered from Twitter is that Candice absolutely ambushed Nick Fuentes, which, if that's true, I'm going to watch it for myself, but if that's true, she has lost a lot of competence, if you get me. So she has lost a lot of people who would have followed her. She's lost people who would have been neutral about her. But she actually started to annoy me a bit when I was looking at what other people were saying about it. Now, again, you don't just take other people's opinions. So in order to gain your values and morals, right, you need to understand, as I said, both sides of the debate. You need to understand their argument, you need to understand this argument, and you need to figure out which one aligns for you. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm a Trump supporter. I follow Trump. I like him. Good person. But where I differ and where I disagree with him, and this is the key thing, right? A lot of people, like you look at Charlie, he's so pro-Israel. And it's actually weird. He also has other values. He also has other beliefs that I very much disagree with. But I never let that stop me from listening to him until now. Right? And it's very key. I listen to a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I do listen to people. And where you need to start changing is the fact that people listen to somebody else and they just adapt everything that other person is saying. Whereas with me, I know what I believe in. I know my beliefs. I'm willing to die by my beliefs. And I'm willing to stand by my beliefs. And I'm willing to lose people who are just being nasty about me believing stuff I believe in. But I can stand by it. I can stick with it. And that's the key thing. I can listen to someone and disagree with them on certain points, but I don't take on all of their values, all of their morals. Now, I generally listen to people who align with my way of thinking anyway. But, like, let's take Dan Bilzerian. I listen to him when it comes to... I don't really listen to him, but again, I would agree with him on anti-Israel, anti-Jew standpoint. Shouldn't have said that. But where I would differ with him is on other aspects, right? And it's just about taking what you can from different people, but also not just taking exactly what they say and implementing it. Figuring out, do I agree with this? Do I genuinely agree with this statement? Does it align with who I am as a person? Does it align with what I believe in? Does it align with everything I stand for? And if it doesn't, then you must ask yourself why. So if you have a belief, ask yourself why you have that belief. And if you cannot answer that 10 times over, why, it's not your belief. So you need to figure out which beliefs are yours, which ones you've taken from somebody else. A lot of people have taken all their beliefs from somebody else. Whereas my beliefs come from things I'm observing in everyday life. My beliefs are coming from Not only things I've observed, but things that are just going on. And once you observe, notice patterns, you can start developing a way of thinking. You understand me? And now you understand where somebody else is coming from. This is from their perspective. Everybody sees life differently. But you need to have your evidence to back it up and don't resort to cheap insults. Do you get me? Good. So, figure out what you believe in. Figure out why you believe the way you believe. Figure out what values, what beliefs you've taken from other people. See if they actually align to your values. And you should be willing to die by the values that you believe in. You must be willing to lose people over believing a certain way. And that goes for everything in life. So, have a lovely day. Try this out. Let me know if it works for you. And let me know if I've changed how you're going to approach how you think going forward. Have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you whenever.